Now, when you Google where did the Big Bang come from, the universal origin story known as the Big Bang postulates that 13 billion years ago our universe emerged from a singularity, a point of infinite density and gravity, and that before this event, space and time did not exist, which means the Big Bang took place at no place and no time. Now, I don't want to insult anyone, but if you have an IQ over 99, you should be able to see in a relatively quick manner that this is illogical, completely asinine. Okay, matter cannot exist if there's no space for it to exist in. And when I say space, I do not mean their infinite and expanding vacuum universe. I mean space that you clear in a drawer to make room for clothes. Space. It is illogical to believe anything. A point of infinite density. It would be more than a point if it was infinite density and gravity. But no one ever asks about that. They just instantaneously believe, memorize, and regurgitate. A point of infinite density and gravity did it all after nothing from nowhere exploded. That gravity sprung into action and assembled the Earth, the Moon, the Sun, every star, every one of your planets, every nebula, asteroid, meteorite, black hole, and what have you. What you will instantaneously believe is in an infinite and expanding vacuum universe. Now, they mock you right to your face. A point of infinite density and gravity, and that before this event, space and time did not exist, which means the Big Bang took place at no place and no time. So, they're actually mocking you. You might think that's some type of philosophical joke, but it's on you. Now, here they are, depicting inflation after their alleged Big Bang, nothing from nowhere exploding, and they always depict this explosion that they call inflation going in one direction. Now that's illogical. Now the only way an explosion will go in one specified direction is if you place explosives or TNT or what have you against a very thick brick or concrete wall. The explosion will take the path of least resistance. But in this scenario, when there's no space and no time, every direction is the path of least resistance. But no one dare ask why this is always depicted going in one direction. That simplifies it for them. They can't have it doing what a real explosion would do. They'd have to add 100 more pages to their textbooks to explain this nonsense and give people like me more ammo to destroy it. Don't you understand that nothing from nowhere is nowhere in nothing, and nothing can be produced? Matter requires other matter to exist. We live in a three-dimensional physical reality of matter, loaded with matter and substance. Yet there are no big bangs, there are no little bangs. Nothing is materializing or appearing or popping into existence. Yet, for many reasons, they want you to believe that nothing from nowhere exploded in one little convenient direction, and that's where our reality comes from. You know, I find it hilarious that a couple years ago when I would make videos about this nonsense, their infinitesimal point was derived from a previous universe that had ran its course expanded until it could expand no more, and collapsed in on itself. And I used to email and ask people left and right, if time, space, and matter collapses in on itself, where would the singularity itself exist? If time, space, and matter has collapsed, where would that singularity exist? If time, space, and matter was contained within the singularity, where would that singularity on its outside perimeters exist? So now, I'm not saying it's because of me. I'm sure there's other people out there with IQs over 99 that would ask this. So now it's just clear cut to the point of infinite density and gravity. No explanation where that came from and how it could exist surrounded by nothing from nowhere, which is what which is what they're saying here, admitting. So what you have to believe, that gravity is some sort of supernatural force or power that can exist nowhere, having been produced by nothing, and that it assembled every moon, planet, star, nebula, and everything they point up at in the sky, and gravity did it. Unbeknownst to you, gravity is your God, Newton its prophet, and NASA its disciples. And I can't understand why people go into debt procuring student loans that takes them the rest of their life to pay back, to get a little piece of paper with a blue ribbon affixed that avails them nothing in life, is of no use. And when you come with this garbled word salad nonsense, we'll be waiting for you to shred it. It's disgusting and ridiculous. It is not learning. It is anything but learning to instantaneously believe, memorize, and regurgitate everything you're told. It's not learning, it's programming. When you ask questions, you should not be ridiculed or ostracized or insulted. This here don't make no sense. Like I said, we live in a reality full of matter, full of presence and substance of this and that. And nowhere, no how, can it be demonstrated for matter to just pop, explode, appear, or materialize into existence. Yet they want you to believe that this garbage, surrounded by nothing from nowhere, somehow existed with no space to exist. They admit it. And it exploded in one convenient direction, and then gravity assembled every galaxy, star, moon, planet, nebula, meteorite, asteroid, black hole, like it was some sort of god. Does the atheist scientism Bible say in the beginning gravity created the heavens and the earth was without form and void, darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the spirit of gravity hovered over the waters? I wouldn't be surprised if it contained blasphemy like that. Now, physical observable reality mandates that matter cannot exist unless other matter produce it. When we want a laptop, a car, a fighter jet, napkins, tires, plates, rugs, we have to make them. Okay, the ability of thought is the most important thing required. The ability of thought to form a plan, process, and repeated execution. Now we know a point of infinite density and gravity. Infinite density of what? We know in our three-dimensional physical reality of matter that nothing is infinite nor eternal, because everything breaks down, erodes, corrodes, falls apart, and dies. So everything you are reading on your screen, which I'm sure you did not know because you do not ask anything, you just instantaneously hear, see or read, believe, memorize, and regurgitate it, and expect me or someone else to pat you on the back and consider you highly intelligent. When you are not, you are a facet of artificial intelligence. It requires matter to produce matter. Matter cannot exist in of itself. It cannot be demonstrated. They want you to believe that after all this, that your ancestors are baboon-type primates. They want you to believe that the earth is insignificant, and we, as humans, within this infinite and expanding vacuum universe, are very low on their totem pole of evolution. And they employ the fear porn of visiting aliens, or aliens that could invade, or aliens this and that, or killer asteroids. They govern you with fear, and you accept it, and you consider it entertainment. Now I'm going to destroy gravity, and I'm going to use one of your very own acclaimed and accredited physicists who very surprisingly to me, is going to tell the truth about gravity. And the sooner you accept this, the sooner you can start dealing with your reality. Your reality should be demonstratable. It should not rely on one theory after another, and another, and another, and another. Now here we are. I'm going to leave the link in the bottom and listen to what your esteemed and precious physicist is about to admit to. Let me turn up the volume. Okay, let's see. Okay, now you might not have heard that very well. I will leave the link in the description, but he basically admits that you have to assume and suppose gravity into existence. And why is that? Because gravity itself, I tell you the truth, gravity itself hasn't one iota of presence or substance of itself. I'm not talking about what they say it does, what it will do. I am not referencing its alleged effects or results. I am talking about gravity itself. Gravity itself hasn't one iota of presence or substance of itself to directly detect, identify, isolate, or harness gravity itself. Now I ask you a sincere question. Would I try to demonstrate electricity by pointing at a TV? Would I do that? No, I wouldn't have to do that because we have current of electricity right here before your eyes. Current of electricity. Now I don't feel like walking to the kitchen to show yous people magnets affixed to my refrigerator, but they're there, and they're probably affixed to your refrigerator too. That is an example of how we have harnessed magnetic field. Some of you know that if you get a ring magnet and iron shavings and a divider, that you can actually see magnetic field. In the iron shavings take the form of magnetic field. Now, why do you have to tell me, jump out a window or drop a rock? No, that's an alleged effect or result of gravity. I reference only gravity itself, per current, field, wave, beam, ray, or particle, graviton, molecule, whatever, quirk of gravity, whatever. It has never been directly detected itself. And for it to be doing the trillions of things you are told it's doing on the Earth every second, holding, pulling, or curving every person, every place, and everything to the outside surface of a giant ball, it would require presence and substance of some form. But no form can be verified because there's no presence and substance of gravity itself, which he admits at the end here, that between two large masses, the Earth and the Moon, there's nothing happening in between them. But we swear to Newton there's some form of attraction. So he is admitting that you have to suppose, you have to assume gravity into existence. Now this is illogical if gravity is really a force, power, or thing, the alleged fabric of space-time. How can an object that falls down, allegedly following a curved trajectory, how can it fall straight down? I know you have to corrupt the definition of straight. That is, it conform to the center and curvature of the Earth. No. Let me show you one last thing. Now there's a whole bunch of idiots who they're not going to like this first definition. Level, excuse me, a horizontal plane or line with respect to the distance above or below a given point. Level, horizontal, level. It has nothing to do with the curvature of your imaginary Earth. Please, review logic. When is the last time any of you had an independent thought? Why do you have to always go to Google and plagiarize it? It is terrible. Look. Having a flat and even surface without slopes or bumps. Flat is level. I'm going to have to do a short on this. I'm going to conclude here. I think my points are enough. Please consider the truth and realize that we do not live on the outside surface of a giant spinning spherical water world space ball. If we did, gravity would be anything but a theory. It would be a fact that is not a fact. It has not one iota, scintilla, or smithereen of presence or substance of itself doing anything anywhere on the Earth. Deal with it. You have to deal with it.